Well, Jim, speaking of making rules, I don't know about making rules, but making matches, something that Tony Khan loves to do. Can we quickly preview the lineup for Full Gear, the AEW pay-per-view extravaganza coming to us next weekend?
Yes, on November 18th from Los Angeles, but they're still making matches. Do we have the whole card? I mean, it's only, as we speak, 6 days away. They're still announcing shit. They just announced that Twinkle Toes and Jerabloat against the Buckaroos match just the other day. So do we have the whole card?
I have at least 9 matches.
Oh, well, that's not the whole card. They got to have at least 15, don't they?
Well, here we go. AEW Full Gear 2023 coming at you November 18th, 2023 from the Kia Forum, Los Angeles, California, 4 p.m. Pacific start time. Announced as of now, in a Texas death match, Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland.
Okay, Page is not from Texas. Neither is Swerve. They have constant no disqualification matches, which is all that their Texas death matches are. It's the same thing, just anything goes, no rules. If Hangnail wants to be a cowboy, why don't they bring the bunkhouse match back? They could have a bunkhouse out there in suburban Virginia. And there could be, I know for a fact that if Hangnail Page has a bunkhouse, there's going to be a lot of bunk in it. So why don't they just have a bunkhouse match and not lie to people?
I'm not sure. The next match, based on the image on the AEW website, it appears to be for the TBS Championship, Chris Statlander against Julia Hart against the winner of Sky Blue versus Red Velvet. So it'll be a 3-way, but we still have yet to determine who the third will be.
Okay, and also, didn't Red Velvet just get beat by Blue Sky, didn't she?
By Julia
Didn't
Hart.
we just say that?
By Julia Hart.
That's right, but Julia Hart got... So Red Velvet got beat by Julia Hart. So why is she in this title match?
Well, she's not. She has to beat Sky Blue to get in the title match.
Why would she even be in consideration when she just got beat?
Because a win over Sky Blue is so big it redeems for anything else you have done wrong. Like leave brass knuckles on the apron or lose matches to Julia Hart.
Faultless logic.
Gotcha there.
Continue.
For the AEW World Tag Team Championship, based on this image, it appears to be a 4-way match.
Jeez.
The champions, Ricky Starks and Big Bill, versus FTR versus the House of Black, and it appears to be Malachi Black and Brody King, versus LFI, consisting of Roosh and his brother, Dralistico.
I would like to see FTR against Starks and Big Bill again because they didn't really have a match. It was an angle the first time. And to see if they can get something out of them. And they're going to throw in the House of Black and LaFuckers and Goobers to just clutter the whole thing up and make it nonsensical, and nobody's going to prosper from it. So that'll be fun.
For the AEW Women's Championship, the champion Hikaru Shida versus Timeless Tony Storm.
Do you think they could be insane enough not to put Tony Storm over here?
In Hollywood? In Los Angeles? No, they have to.
Well, but if it was in Poughkeepsie, she looks great. She can talk. She's got some oomph. She's attracting attention. If you're not going to take wrestling seriously anyway, the women's matches are good shit not to take seriously and just being entertained by. So you've got a champion that can barely speak English, can't do a promo, has shitty fucking matches, and looks like she's confused all the time, or Tony Storm. So naturally, Shida will probably retain. Because of the Omega factor, maybe.
Right. And, we see the ratings, but I think one day there needs to be a conversation again about, should AEW even have a women's division? But Jim, the next match here, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, the Golden Jets, versus Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks.
Whether he's a golden jet, a golden lover, a golden shower, or a whatever the fuck, It's still fucking Twinkle Toes and the Young Bucks playing around, and now Jericho has interjected himself in that so that he can play with all the EVPs and they get preferential treatment. He's hanging out with the cool kids in the hallway after fucking gym period or whatever. Good Lord. Jericho will slow it down a little bit. It'll be chaos whenever the other three are in. And who gives a shit? And whose side are we supposed to be on? They're all either ex-heels, heels that never actually switched, or just insufferable douchebag personalities. Whose side are we supposed to be on in this fucking nattering old women's goddamn argument about who's the real friend of who?
This really doesn't seem like much of a pay-per-view lineup. Let's go to the next match, Jim. A trios match. Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne versus Adam Copeland, Darby Allin, and Sting.
You know, that actually, the match makes perfect sense. They've built it up well. You know who the heels are and who the baby faces are. And it's part of Sting's retirement. Edge is involved. And Christian is being the best heel promo in the company. So out of anything that you would put on pay-per-view that you've read off to me so far, that sounds like the one that might sell a fucking ticket.
Also on the card, for the AEW International Championship, the champion Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley.
And how do you think they talk? Is Moxley so far gone with his CTE or substances that have damaged his mental capacity that he wants to do this? Or is he doing it to get over with the fucking people who like this idiot? Or is he just wanting his belt back and he's got to have this match to win it back? What's going on?
No, remember, he beat Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy hasn't beaten him.
But Orange Cassidy had wait a minute, they put who's got the belt now?
Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
He got it from Phoenix, who got it from the concussed Moxley.
So Moxley needs to have this match to get his belt back. He's certainly not doing it like on purpose, thinking it would draw money or make him look good. It's just something they've got to get done, right?
Oh, no, he's going to lose.
He's indulging that Tony.
No, he's going to lose. They're going to give Orange Cassidy his win back, I think.
You're out of your mind.
We'll see. They're going to give Orange Cassidy the win back that they wanted
Moxley,
to give him
the guy that sells nothing for anybody, it wouldn't stay down if he got run over by a fucking car and loves to bleed and get wrapped up in all this violence. He's going to put a joke mascot over in the middle of the ring on pay-per-view?
I think so.
He needs to go back to rehab.
Well, we'll see what happens. 2 more matches, Jim. For the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship, the champions, MJF and a wrestler to be determined, versus the Guns.
All right, it's Samoa Joe, and they're going to win the titles, or they're going to retain the titles, and then Joe is going to be crowing that the only reason that MJF could win was because of him, and Adam's going to be upset because Joe's taking his place, and MJF is going to be confused about the whole thing like the fans are. And if they're lucky, MJF won't get hurt in this preliminary match so that he can come back and defend the World Heavyweight title in the fucking pay-per-view main event, which I assume you're about to tell us.
And finally, the main event for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, the champion MJF versus the belt holder, Jay White.
I mean, what more can we say? They lead people to believe it's going to happen, several weeks out. Then they make it official 8 days out. But more promotion has been done on the Ring of Honor tag team title situation. MJF's going to have to work twice. Not that, it's going to be a stretch for him physically, but that you go out, you lose your virgin pop by going out in a preliminary match, probably engaging in foolishness, and then have to go back out in the main event and try to get Jay White over. I mean, as a credible challenger. He's not Merlin the Magician, MJF. He can't do every goddamn thing. And it's ridiculous. It's like they booked this thing from the bottom up instead of the top down. What's the best preliminaries we can have? Okay, we'll finish the main events out later. It doesn't make any sense.
And that's AEW Full Gear, and we'll see if it's as exciting as it appears it will be in advance.
The bar is low. And apparently, if Tony's sitting at it, fully stocked.